We had been married for 7 years, yet that woman clung to him relentlessly. Is your wife as cute as me? He replied coldly, sarcastically, you think you're even worthy of being compared to her. But later, I witnessed with my own eyes how he pampered that woman without restraint. Carrying her high heels, setting off fireworks, spending New Year's Eve with her. While with me, he grew more and more distant. On her birthday, I was rear-ended by one of his enemies and slammed into a guardrail. He rushed to the scene, only to find the divorce papers I'd left behind. Even when you're sick, he won't come stay with you. In the bustling hospital, I sat in a corner hooked up to an 4. My best friend had just paid the medical fees and now sat beside me, visibly upset on my behalf. Over the years, my menstrual pain had worsened. The doctor told me that, due to multiple past miscarriages, my current health made pregnancy unadvisable. I sighed, pulled out my phone, and tried calling Logan. As expected, the line was busy. Still at work, my best friend muttered angrily. His wife's like this, and he's still too busy. I forced a smile. The face in the mirror was pale, lifeless. Do you remember Melina? Melina? The one who chased Logan for 7 years, never got him, and always got scolded by him. Yes. Well, now she's caught him. She wasn't just his stalker for 7 years, she was also his secretary. A minute ago, Melina posted an update, no need for peach blossoms to bloom anymore. The one I've been waiting for has arrived. The photo showed her holding hands with someone, taken at a 5-star hotel. On the floor were scattered rose petals, a woman's discarded dress, and a custom-made men's tie. The man's long ring finger had a pale indentation, a mark left by a missing wedding band. The final photo, familiar leather car seats. And 2 black stockings. Many envied me, thinking I had bet on the right man in my youth. They thought that once Logan achieved success, he gave me all of his love in return. But the truth was, Logan had cheated on me. When I left the hospital, it was already close to dusk. Logan called. What's wrong? He asked. His voice was as cool and composed as always, yet carried a gentle tenderness, different from how he spoke to anyone else. I stuffed the medical report into my bag. Nothing. I won't be home tonight, Logan said. But today was my birthday. Come to think of it, we had known each other for 20 years. He had celebrated my birthday 19 times. This year, he forgot. Suddenly, tears welled up. Logan, today's my birthday. Could you come see me now? I heard soft rustling on the other end, the sound of fabric brushing. After a moment, he said, okay. He drove over himself. After all these years, Logan had become even more composed and refined. Every move he made was hard to look away from. I sat in his passenger seat. The car was clean, no trace of another woman's presence. My eyes drifted over him, a neatly pressed collar, a priceless watch, a perfectly knotted tie. And a wedding ring. But in my mind, I couldn't stop picturing him and Melina entangled. Disheveled clothes, passion-clouded eyes. A suffocating pressure settled in my chest. What's wrong? You look pale. Logan always did things flawlessly, leaving no trace. Had I not accidentally added Melina's account with my alternate profile, I would have had no proof at all. Clutching the seatbelt, I said quietly, the doctor said, it'll be hard for us to have children. It's okay. What matters to me is you, he replied absent-mindedly, eyes fixed on the road ahead. Back when he was starting his business, I endured countless hardships alongside him. My health never fully recovered, and I miscarried several times. Now my body was fragile and damaged. I knew, deep down, he wanted a child. Suddenly, his phone rang. The harsh ringtone shattered the silence. Answer that for me, he said. I picked it up, pausing when I saw the name, Melina. Go ahead, Logan said flatly. I put it on speaker. Hello? He's driving. There was a short silence on the other end, as if Melina hadn't expected my voice. Then she said in a low tone, Emily, could you pass the phone to President Smith? It's on speaker. Say what you need to. Melina's voice was thick with emotion, almost tearful. President Smith, I'd like to request a day off tomorrow. Reason? Logan asked coldly. I'm not feeling great. I want to go to the amusement park with my boyfriend. Boyfriend. I glanced instinctively at Logan, who had pressed his lips into a tight line. It felt like someone had struck me hard on the head. Was she inviting him out? Or was she retaliating because I answered the phone? Melina, I pay you to work, not to take frequent leave, Logan said. I'm sorry, but I really want to go, she choked out softly, he abandoned me today. I just want to clear my head. I stared hard at Logan, hoping, desperately, for him to refuse. He tapped his finger on the steering wheel. Just this once. Melina's voice turned bright. Thank you, President Smith. After the call ended, Logan kept his gaze straight ahead, face unreadable. His fingers drumming on the wheel slowed gradually, a sign he was relaxing. He was upset about leaving Melina. Now that he had soothed her, he felt relieved. Maybe he wouldn't even admit it to himself. But accepting her invitation, right in front of me, gave him a thrill. "Let's go too," I blurted out. He rejected the idea immediately. "I have a meeting tomorrow. Amusement parks are childish, not your thing." "The old you wouldn't have said that," I whispered. Without looking at me, he said, "Emily, we've been married for 7 years." 7 years. Was he telling me not to expect romance anymore? I turned to look out the window and softly replied, "Okay." I didn't argue further. Logan probably forgot, we were young and foolish once too. The summer we were 18, during the hottest days of the break. He held a sunshade over me, carried my snacks and purse, and played with me all day at an amusement park. At the highest point of the Ferris wheel, he kissed me and said, "Emily, I want to marry you." Back then, his eyes were filled with nothing but me. We were the golden couple in everyone's eyes. When we got married, we even invited our high school homeroom teacher. He joked, "I always knew this kid had a thing for you." As soon as you graduated, he made his move. Years later, after the company went public, Logan finally admitted, he had been planning it all along. To this day, I still wonder. Is love really something worth risking everything for? In our 5th year of marriage, Melina became Logan's secretary. I once walked into the CEO's office and caught her whining, "President Smith, is your wife as cute as me?" Logan's reply was cold and mocking, "You think you're worthy of comparison?" And I gradually let down my guard. 2 years passed. Just when I'd nearly forgotten her, I accidentally added Melina's account with a small alt profile. That's when the nightmare began. The world Melina showed in her social media posts was completely different from the one Logan had described to me. The same man who once said he despised Melina now lowered himself to carry her high heels while strolling along the beaches of the Maldives. On New Year's Eve, he blocked my calls. Just so he could watch the first firework of the year bloom in the sky, with her. And in the end, he couldn't even remember my birthday. Perhaps love really could be with just anyone. After dinner, Logan stepped out onto the balcony to make a call. The hastily bought birthday cake on the table remained untouched. I watched him. The dim glow of his phone illuminated the side of his face, and I saw tenderness in his eyes. The kind of look he used to give me, back when we were young. I didn't say a word. Silently, I began clearing the dishes. The next day, I went alone to the amusement park. It had been years since we graduated. The amusement park had been renovated countless times, except for the Ferris wheel, the same one I once rode. It still looked exactly the same. "Logan, can't you choose to be with me next time?" Melina, dressed in a white dress, clung to Logan's arm, looking heartbroken. "It was her birthday yesterday," Logan said calmly. "I'm with you most of the time, aren't I? You don't even love her anymore. Why bother celebrating her birthday?" Melina began to pout. "I'm still young and I threw myself at an old man like you, and you still don't cherish me." Logan laughed. "Old? You didn't seem to think so when we were in bed." "Fine, fine. Rich, handsome, strong, happy now." Melina pulled him into the Ferris wheel car. "Miss, are you here with your boyfriend?" the ticket seller asked me. "At the very top of the Ferris wheel, you can make a wish. If you start kissing at the bottom and continue all the way to the top, it guarantees a lifetime together." He tried to stop me from following, but I ignored him. My eyes locked onto Logan and Melina as they boarded the Ferris wheel. Logan's hand lazily rested on the metal railing, his head tilted as he watched Melina fumble with a bunny ear headband. She couldn't get it on right after several tries. Finally, he lifted a hand, pinched her chin to steady her face, then used the other hand to adjust the headband. His angle shifted slightly, and then, he kissed her. From behind, it looked almost like a dance. 2 figures tangled in a kiss, rising slowly with the carriage, growing smaller, blurrier. Logan didn't pull away. He kissed her willingly, without hesitation. The sunlight stung my eyes. Tears streamed down uncontrollably, but I refused to blink. Not until they were so high I could no longer see their silhouettes. I suddenly lost control. I frantically called Logan. At first, he declined the call. I cried and kept calling, again and again. Eventually, he answered. It was Melina. "Emily," she said, clearly irritated by the interruption but trying to sound polite, "President Smith is in a meeting. Is something wrong? Put him on the phone. He's not available. Do you not understand human language?" I said put him on the phone. Melina went silent, then passed the phone to Logan. His voice came through the speaker, slightly hoarse. "Emily, what's wrong?" I stared up at the Ferris wheel, now at its peak. "Is the view from the top beautiful?" Silence fell. "Logan, if I hadn't called just now, would you have made a wish with her, to stay together forever?" Later, Logan sat across from me in the living room, quiet for a long time. "Emily, must it come to this?" On the coffee table lay a divorce agreement. Drafted urgently by a lawyer friend of mine. He glanced through it briefly. It's rough. A lot of the clauses are questionable. I clenched my fists. That's all you have to say to me, right now? Logan paused, then said softly, I'm sorry. Tears slid down my face. Even if the terms are messy, even if I give you 9 and I take only 1, can't you just agree? You're the one at fault, he said. What about the assets you gave to Melina? Can I not take them back? Facing my tear-streaked, reddened eyes, Logan said nothing. I hurled the divorce papers at him, hitting him squarely in the face. Then I broke down. Logan, do you even have a heart? What do I mean to you, really? A flash of pain crossed his eyes. Suddenly, he pulled me into his arms. Emily, I'm sorry. I lost my mind. Can we not get divorced? Choking back sobs, I asked, when you were in the Maldives with her, did you know I was sick? Did you know my cramps were getting worse every time, because of too many miscarriages? Logan, the last child I lost, was because I drank for you to shield you from alcohol. You had a stomach ulcer. And what did you do for me? You drank for Melina. By the end, my words were drowned in tears. Logan held me tightly, gently stroking my hair. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Emily, I'll fire her. I'll cut everything off. Please. That night, I exploded with a rage I had never felt before. I screamed, cried, and smashed the house to pieces. Logan had no words, he could only try to soothe me gently. Emily, please, don't do this. Your hand is bleeding. Hoarse from crying, I had only 4 words left for him, we are getting divorced. Logan stroked my hair and said in a low voice, Emily, I'll handle everything. Wait for me. Logan adamantly refused to grant me a divorce. That day, I stood by the window, watching coldly as Melina cried miserably downstairs. You weren't like this before, Logan. You do love me, don't you? You're wrong, Logan said with chilling indifference. It was just a fling. It's normal for it to end once the novelty wears off. Melina wiped her tears, disheveled and frantic. Logan, you liar. You're the biggest liar in the world. As she crouched down, sobbing, it began to rain. Logan lowered his eyes, lost in thought. Maybe his clenched hand, veins bulging, said more than his silence ever could. The next day, Melina disappeared from the company. For a while afterward, Logan came home every day. He began to talk more. Even though I never responded, he didn't seem to mind. It was as if things had returned to how they were when we first started our business. But some things, once broken, can never be put back together. At least, there was still one thing I could hold on to, money. In the past few years, Logan's company had grown bigger and more successful. Because of health issues, I had stopped working to focus on recovery at home. So when I decided to return to the company, many of my friends didn't understand. Emily, you're actually going to check up on Logan at work? I corrected them seriously, it's our company. From the early days of the startup to its development now, I had contributed a great deal. And I still owned a significant number of shares. One friend said, you really don't know how lucky you are. Logan makes money, you could travel the world. Why not have him take you to the Maldives for a vacation? But come to think of it, he had never taken me anywhere. All the romance he gave, to Melina. When Logan found out, he asked me, Emily, do you want to go? Sure. I knew this was just his way of trying to compensate for the guilt. Still, I went. I had consulted a lawyer, filing for divorce would require extensive evidence. And Logan was too careful. There was nothing obvious to find. So I had to start with Melina. After all, the more panicked someone is, the more likely they are to slip up. For instance, Logan brought me back to the place where he had once gone with her. Before we left, Melina came to find me. You really think you've won? She smiled. He can't live without me. Sooner or later, he'll come back. You should know by now, there's no law in the world that can control how people feel. We love each other. That's not a crime. I didn't want to hear a single word more. You can have him divorce me, as long as he's willing. But if there's nothing else, we're leaving for vacation. Melina didn't get angry, instead, she laughed. Have fun? Too bad he won't make it to the end. We walked along the beach in the Maldives. In the distance, the pale blue sea shimmered under the dazzling golden sunlight. It was breathtaking. I raised my phone and leisurely created a photo collage, then posted it to my social feed. I knew Melina would see it. And it wouldn't take long before she struck back, with her own photo updates. My lawyer had said, once she accidentally exposed her identity, I'd have something to use against her. After I posted, I noticed Logan staring into the sunset, lost in thought. What's wrong? I asked. He withdrew his gaze and smiled faintly. Nothing. It's time for dinner. I looked at him for a moment before replying, all right. Let's go. Not far away, I heard the cheerful laughter of a young woman. She was barefoot on the sand, calling to the man behind her, "Hurry up. We need to catch the sunset." Logan's expression blanked for a moment. Quietly, I looked away and tossed the seashell I had been holding. See? No matter how beautiful the scenery is, it's not his first time. In his heart, something even more beautiful had taken root. That evening, Logan drank a little. So did I. I lay back against a soft pillow, gazing out at the endless sea. When Logan leaned in to kiss me, I gently turned my head away. He paused, voice hoarse. "Emily, what's wrong? Talk to me tonight. Just talk." Okay. I'm not even sure how much I had encouraged him to drink. People tend to speak their truth when they're tipsy. The lawyer had said, if he could write a confession, it would help the case. Logan kissed my ear and said, "You've always had a weak body. That time you got sick, I carried you 2 kilometers to the hospital." I responded calmly, "Yeah. Back then, I really thought I was lucky. I had someone who loved me." "You still do," he said. "Logan will always love Emily." A soft breeze slipped through the curtains. But it couldn't cover up the hollowness of a lie. I said to him, "Logan, sing me a song." When he was 18, Logan had a beautiful voice. He once sang a love song to me, confidently, in front of the whole school. After he gained status and power, he stopped singing. "Which song?" He smiled. "The one you sang when you confessed to me." I sat on the balcony, the gentle night wind lifting my hair. I closed my eyes and felt myself transported back. Back to that summer when Logan confessed to me. Back to the me who believed in growing old together. The phone on the coffee table lit up. It was a message from Melina. "I'm pregnant. It's Logan's. You'll never take him from me." Somehow, the wind had stopped. So had the music. He never finished the song. I turned to look behind me. There stood Logan, in the dark, gripping his phone. At that moment, I understood, some things really could never go back to how they were. He said, "Emily, something's come up at the company. I have to leave." Everyone was confused when I came back from vacation alone. "Did you and Logan have a fight?" I always smiled gently and said, "No. We're doing fine. Logan treated me better than before." Just because that day, I had broken down crying in front of a group of children leaving kindergarten. Logan held me, guilt-ridden. "Emily, I'm sorry. I failed you." I grabbed his tie. "Logan, from now on, don't ever do anything that hurts me again." People all said I'd changed. In front of Logan, I was the gentle, helpless rabbit. But at work, I was decisive and capable. No one could tell I had once been a full-time housewife. Only I knew how hard it was. The nights I buried myself under the covers, silently biting down on my lip to keep myself going. I didn't have much time left. This relationship, it was like boiling a frog in warm water. Too long, and I had lost my ability to survive out in the real world. "Logan, come to the concert with me tonight." At the end of the workday, I handed him the ticket. "I waited forever to grab these. I really want you to come." Logan hesitated. Because tonight, he was supposed to take Melina to her prenatal checkup. Disappointment showed on my face. "Is something going on?" "It's okay, I can go by myself." "It's nothing," Logan cut me off. "I'll go with you. The truth is, I love concerts. Any kind of concert. Otherwise, back then, I wouldn't have fallen for him over a single song." That night, I waved my glow stick and screamed my heart out in a sea of people. Logan sat beside me, fidgeting, staring at his phone. I could tell, Melina was upset. But I ignored it. After the concert, we walked hand in hand down a tree-lined path. The crowd had dispersed. Most of them were families with kids. I smiled and said, "Logan, back when I was 18, I dreamed of this. That when I was young, you'd go to concerts with me, and when we were older, you'd take our child and come with me again. If we had a child, we'd be as happy as them tonight." Logan's grip on my hand tightened suddenly. "Emily." His voice trembled with emotion. I turned to him, smiling brightly. "But it's okay now. Even if we never have a child, just having you by my side is enough." Logan's expression went blank. His eyes turned red. "Emily, I'm sorry. I'm a terrible man." I cupped his face, gently wiping away his tears. "No, Logan. You'll always be my Logan. Tonight was really special. Thank you for coming with me." I stood on tiptoe and placed a soft kiss on his lips. Then I stepped back with a smile. "I'm guessing you've got company business now. I'll grab a cab home." But after just a few steps, my wrist was suddenly pulled back with force. He pulled me tightly into his arms. Logan said, "I'm fine. Let's go home." That night, Logan seemed almost manic. He kissed me feverishly, tangled his fingers in my hair. In the heat of passion, he even murmured something about wanting to have a child with me. Just as he was about to get serious, I pressed down on his belt. "Logan, I don't know if I can trust you anymore. Could you write me a letter of assurance?" "All right. 2 weeks later, I heard from Melina again. This time, she came to see me in person. She had lost weight, and her tone was sharp. He doesn't love you anymore. Why do you keep clinging to him? I truly wondered. Do all mistresses graduate from the same training course? Even their lines sound identical. I replied, Melina, Logan and I have known each other for 20 years. And in 20 years, he still fell in love with me, she sneered. Emily, stop lying to yourself. You really think he's done with me? Fuming, her hands trembled as she pulled out a tablet and showed me private photos. You're so proud of yourself, aren't you? Thinking you've won your husband back. Look at this. These were taken yesterday. He was in bed with me. 3 hours. Would he do that if he didn't love me? Yesterday. I remembered. Logan had hugged me and said, I have dinner with clients tonight. I might not be home. Want to come with me? So that's where he really went. When pain reaches a certain point, it becomes numbness. I wasn't stupid. The moment a man cheats for the first time, he's already dirty. There's no need for a second chance. I stared at her stomach and asked, how's the baby? Doing fine, she replied. I looked at her seriously, voice calm, I'm not giving Logan back to you. Melina let out a mocking laugh, as if I'd just told a joke. You don't seriously think you're still attractive enough to? I'm going to throw him away. If you want to pick up the trash, be my guest. I couldn't help letting a hint of sarcasm slip through. Melina lost it. Before she could throw that cup of water at me, I calmly picked up my bag and walked out of the cafe. I already had enough evidence. I could file for divorce at any time. Still, if Logan felt guilty enough, a negotiated divorce agreement could benefit me more than a lawsuit. I rose with my bag in hand and left, ignoring her ashen face behind me. Logan scheduled appointments with several top-tier OBGYNs for me. All professors from leading hospitals. He tried everything he could to help me regain my health. And I played along, cooperative, composed. One time, I was curled in pain from cramps, drenched in sweat. Logan saw it. Afterward, he stood silently by the window, chain-smoking cigarette after cigarette. He said, I'm sorry, Emily. I didn't know you'd been suffering this much. I smiled and shook my head. It's okay. As long as you love me, that's enough. Watching him struggle like this, I had mixed feelings. I couldn't help but wonder. What would the 18-year-old Logan think of who he'd become? He went shopping with me a few times. Once, I stopped in front of a store window and looked longingly at a limited edition pair of shoes. The same kind he'd bought for Melina. I really wish I had a pair, I said. The glass reflected the guilt darkening his face. He knew, they were sold out. The last pair had gone to Melina as a birthday gift. Let's look at something else, he said, pulling me along. I said, Logan, I like that brand slogan. Some gifts can only be given once. If you give them to me, don't give them to someone else. Logan's voice was strained. There won't be anyone else. In his eyes, I was no longer lifeless. I'd begun to glow again. Logan often stared at me in a daze. What are you looking at? Nothing, just reminded me of how you looked when you were young. His gaze turned tender. Emily, I love you. I was curled up on the couch, laptop on my knees. Then help me figure this part out. Ugh, you're hopeless. It's easy. Logan wrapped an arm around me and helped me with the project I was working on. Just like the old days, when he'd lean over my desk to help me with math homework. That evening, as we left the office, Melina blocked our path, her belly heavy with pregnancy. Her eyes were red. Logan, are you really going to abandon me and the baby? Logan's face darkened. He gripped my hand tightly. What nonsense are you talking? I'm not lying. She gritted her teeth. There's your child in here. Are you really going to deny it? Logan tried to pull me upstairs. I shook him off gently, smiling faintly. You handle it. I'll go home on my own. His expression stiffened. Emily. I didn't respond. I turned and went upstairs. Actually, I had already installed a hidden camera in the underground garage, pointed right at our parking spot. Now, on the screen, I watched Logan pull Melina into his arms. Silently, I hit record. I thought you didn't want me anymore. Never, Logan sighed. But she's still my wife. Then just divorce her, Melina said. Logan stroked her face. Go home first. Be good. When will you come see me again? Soon. When Logan returned home, I was leaning against a pillow, discussing a project with colleagues. Emily, he called softly. I looked at him for a long time without speaking. Logan opened his mouth, hesitant. Melina, her boyfriend left her. She's not doing well, mentally. I gave a dry chuckle. Oh, I see. I hope she'll be okay. At this point, I'd had enough of his pathetic, absurd lies. They were less entertaining than a stand-up comedy show. Logan came over and handed me a cup of milk tea from downstairs. It's still warm. Your favorite, jasmine green. I don't drink it anymore. I shut my laptop. I quit a long time ago. Emily, don't you trust me? Of course I do, I smiled. We're in love. I believe everything you say. Logan looked like he wanted to say something but didn't know where to start. Logan, do you have any regrets? I asked. He didn't even blink. Yes. I regret ever getting involved with Melina. I had regrets, too. I regretted ever getting involved with him. Work got busier and busier. I was often so swamped, I didn't even have time to drink water. On Christmas Day, snow began to fall outside. Logan was on a business trip in another city. I was driving home alone. On the phone, Logan reminded me, eat well even if I'm not home. Wait for me. Okay. I will. As I passed through a busy intersection, a large truck suddenly burst through the median, barreling toward me. I swerved instinctively. My car slammed into the guardrail. The airbags deployed. The impact was deafening, leaving a ringing in my ears. For a while, I didn't even realize I'd been in a crash. Through the phone, I could hear Logan shouting my name in panic. Later, the medics came and lifted me onto a stretcher. Lying there, watching the snow fall like a white curtain, I remembered. Today was Melina's birthday. And in that moment, I finally made up my mind. I left Logan a divorce agreement and disappeared completely. He'd understand what it meant, either sign and divorce me willingly, or I'll see him in court. 1 month after Emily disappeared, Logan went into a frenzy. He harassed every friend and family member connected to her. As a result, news of his 3-year affair with Melina spread like wildfire. Everyone sighed, desire really is destructive. With money and power comes the urge to chase stimulation, only to end up losing the version of yourself you once were. Logan tore up the divorce agreement Emily had left behind, and barely managed to endure the month. In January, he received a new divorce agreement, mailed from overseas by Emily herself. This version was far more comprehensive. It was clear she had hired a top-tier legal team. She had made up her mind to leave him. Logan abandoned a crying Melina and flew abroad alone. He found Emily's biological parents, with whom she'd had only a distant relationship. After hearing what happened, they told him, "You betrayed your marriage. So we support her decision." On a foreign street, Logan saw an elderly couple with silver hair, sitting close on a park bench, watching the sunset. Suddenly, he squatted down on the ground and broke into sobs. Only at that moment did he finally realize what he had lost. He had loved Emily for 20 years. She had always been the protective soil around the roots of his life. With her, he could grow wildly, confidently, chasing after brighter skies. Only when she left did Logan feel the deep, searing ache. That came from the very base of his being. A sign of decay. Without Emily, Logan had nothing left. Having trouble with your wife? The old couple noticed him crying and asked kindly. Logan choked out, "Yes. I made a huge mistake." "Then go apologize. Beg for her forgiveness." A flicker of hope sparked in his chest. But the old man smiled and added, "If she still loves you, it might work." That tiny flicker was instantly extinguished. Logan sank deeper into despair. Of course, how could Emily still love him? During those countless, self-deceiving nights, when he held Melina in his arms and lost himself in pleasure, he had already driven a knife into Emily's heart. How could anyone love the person who had destroyed them? Logan returned home after hearing that Melina was going into labor. By now, though, he felt nothing but disgust. He had once said Melina wasn't worthy of comparison to Emily. He still felt the same. Melina wasn't as capable, not as beautiful, not as graceful. The only thing she had ever offered, initiative, now seemed cheap and desperate. Melina argued with him, "You didn't say that when you loved me. You don't even love Emily, but you cared for her so deeply. Why can't you treat me the same?" Logan only laughed coldly. "I loved her for 20 years. And you? Besides a few hundred indecent photos, what else do you have?" It was the first time Melina realized. Even getting Logan in this humiliating way was not a win. In fact, in this game, there was never a winner. "I'll never marry you," Logan said plainly. "When the baby is born, I'll take custody." Melina screamed and cried for hours. Logan, growing impatient, slammed the door and left. After the accident, I spent a long time recovering in the hospital. In December, my lawyer flew out to meet me. I handed over the evidence I'd gathered. "Thank you for your work these past few weeks." He smiled. "You're one of the rare few with incredible mental strength. Most wives break down during the evidence collection stage." I thought for a moment and said, "If we manage to recover the shares and assets Logan gave to Melina, my future in the company will carry significant weight," he finished for me. "Yes. Thank you." On the day I was discharged, I visited our old high school. Back then, Logan had stood on that graduation stage and confessed to me. A faded photo of us still hung on the campus wall. I found a staff member and asked to have it taken down. Keeping it as a memento, they asked. I shook my head. No. We're getting divorced. The administrator looked regretful. All these years? Every graduating class comes here to confess. All because of you two. Who would have thought? Yeah, who would have thought? I sighed, gazing at the photo of those two young, smiling faces. 18-year-old Logan and Emily. If they could see what became of us, they'd be heartbroken. As I was leaving the school, I ran into Logan. He had lost a significant amount of weight. Emily. I looked up. What a coincidence. You came to find the old photos too. Yeah. Lowering my head, I took a deep breath and let out a faint laugh. Logan, what's the point? Emily, I won't marry Melina. I'll fight for custody of the baby. Can we not get divorced? Didn't you always want a child? I looked at him and softly asked, Logan, how did you become like this? He gripped my shoulders tightly, eyes red. Please, Emily, just give me one more chance. I swore once I'd treat you well for the rest of my life. Logan broke down crying. I was blind. I did so many wrong things. I swear, I'll never do it again. I looked at him and said, could you stop crying? You're nothing like who you used to be. I don't like you like this. He hurriedly wiped his tears. Emily, name your terms. Anything I can do, I'll do it. I want you to light fireworks with me. Okay. Logan's face lit up with hope. But almost immediately, the smile froze. Because he remembered. Back when we graduated, I'd said to him, Logan, when we get rich, you have to take me to light the most expensive fireworks. But he had already done that. With Melina. What I wanted wasn't a firework worth any particular amount. But the youth we could never get back. Our past. Was something Logan could no longer give. Logan wept bitterly. Emily, you won't forgive me. I held his hand. It's the 18-year-old Logan, who can't forgive you. This is the end. A peaceful parting. When I turned to leave, Logan didn't say a single word. Because he knew. What he had done was beyond forgiveness. I divorced Logan. As I requested, the assets were split, 90% to me, 10% to him. Logan disagreed. And chose to leave with nothing. I didn't rest in the months that followed. I gritted my teeth and forced myself to adapt to working life again. So when I returned to the company, I handled everything with practiced ease. The month Melina was due, her court case began as well. I sued her for the return of all marital assets. This was the second batch of evidence I had prepared. Including her chat logs with Logan, social posts flaunting luxury homes and cars, and the equity transfer documents. All of it took place during the marriage. The evidence was airtight, and I had our divorce agreement in hand. The court ruled, all assets must be returned. It was a sunny day when Melina, heavily pregnant, threw a tantrum in public. The baby in my belly is Logan's. I know, I replied calmly, glancing at my watch. The afternoon meeting wasn't urgent. I had time to chat with her. Melina said, you don't even have a child. Why should you get to keep Logan's money? Shouldn't it go to his child? It should. I nodded. You make a good point. But after the divorce, Logan no longer had any money left. No matter how much she wanted, Logan had nothing to give. Melina was now living the very life she once feared most. Logan had lost all motivation for work. He was hollow, aimless. Every word I said to him before the divorce, every place I had taken him, had planted seeds in his mind, which now sprouted painfully. Betrayers should be punished. I didn't really care whether she had Logan's child. All I cared about was how much money I could get. A battle of pride was the most useless thing in the world. Emily, have you even looked at yourself? As if Logan could ever love you. What do I look like? I looked at my reflection in the car window. True, I wasn't young anymore. There was no more longing for love in my eyes. But what life had refined in me wasn't bitterness. It was courage. The kind that keeps you walking forward. I smiled and asked her, is love really that important? Maybe. Two people building a life from scratch, facing storms hand in hand, rising together. It takes love. But in the end, it doesn't mean much. Melina's child didn't make it past the second year. There were complications during birth. Oxygen deprivation. By age 2, the baby got sick. And then, was gone. Melina sank into depression, tormenting Logan day after day. Friends nudged me quietly, are you going to the funeral? No, I said. My career was booming. I had no time for other people's misfortunes. I heard Logan opened a small company. It's struggling. I didn't even look up. Well, he has a child to support. Word is, right after the baby passed, Logan shut the company down. You really were his spirit, they said. When you were around, he was so driven. If you look at him now, sigh. My phone rang. I answered immediately. A man's voice came through the receiver. Want me to pick you up for dinner tonight? Sure. Seeing the smile bloom on my face, my friend asked, something going on? A business partner. Not just that, huh? He's pursuing me. The teasing began. Then you have to let us meet him sometime. That evening, as I came downstairs, I saw a familiar car parked by the curb. It was Logan's. I had given him that car after the divorce. He got out and opened the door. Emily. Just as my friend had said. He looked hollow. Drained. The once radiant and ambitious Logan was gone, replaced by something ghostlike and lifeless. I nodded slightly. My condolences. My voice was cool, emotionless. Logan sighed, eyes lifting to the towering building lit up behind me. He had once stood here, owning everything. Now, he had lost it all. I never thought it would turn out like this. Turn out how? I asked flatly. That a simple betrayal, I added, was nothing, right? Just a scratch? Logan swallowed. I'm sorry. Betrayal is betrayal. You betrayed me, and you paid the price. That's enough. My calm tone seemed to unnerve him, as if things between us weren't supposed to be like this. He tried asking, Emily, when did you find out about the affair? I smiled, cutting him off. A long time ago. Saw it on her social feed. Logan opened his mouth again. But I cut in once more. I know what you want to ask. If I reconciled with you, it was a lie. If I said I believed you loved me, it was a lie. If I touched you, it wasn't with sincerity. Logan's face turned pale. Bloodless. Emily, why? To gather evidence, I said, lips curling into a smirk. If you didn't feel guilty for what you'd done, how would I get proof? How would I make you willingly walk away from everything you owned? I wasn't that generous. Anyone who hurt me had to pay the price. That included Logan. That included Melina. This unfamiliar expression on my face seemed to make Logan's chest ache. But you cried. I let out a laugh. Being sad doesn't mean I wasn't after compensation. Logan, I have to survive. From a distance, a tall man stepped down from a sleek black car. He was well dressed. Elegant. Dusty from a long day. Emily, he called. There was tiredness in his eyes. But it only made him look gentler. Logan suddenly felt a bad premonition. I reached out and naturally took the man's arm. Logan, let me introduce you. This is my boyfriend, John Price. John nodded politely. Nice to meet you. Logan took a long moment to find his voice. You have a boyfriend? Yep. No explanation. No intention to explain. Two casual syllables, brushing off everything. John took my hand. Done talking? Let's go eat. Yeah, done. As I turned to leave, Logan felt a wave of panic surge inside him. Emily. I looked back. And saw the bouquet of red roses blooming on the back seat of his car. So that's why he came. Even Logan didn't fully understand what he was hoping for. Maybe he just wanted me to know what he meant. He stared at me, nervously waiting for an answer. But I simply turned away again, smiled at John, and said, buy me some roses, will you? The most expensive ones. I already did. They're in the car. We walked away, side by side, laughing over something cheerful. Logan stood behind, staring at our shadows. At first, they overlapped. My shadow and his. Short, closely matched, just like when we were young. But as I walked farther, the shadows stretched out. And at a certain point, they split completely. The shadow beneath him. Was Logan at 18. The one walking ahead, hand in hand with someone else. Was Emily at 30. And Logan was forever lost in that blinding, chaotic summer of his 28th year. He would never find his way out again.